Hey tea sippers, welcome to an episode of Tips Tea. On today's episode, we are going to be learning about my story and how anxiety turned into my purpose. If you want to know more, stay tuned. So, let's start by talking about who am I? Well, I am Tivoli and I'm affectionately known as Tip. I have a background in healthcare since 2010, and from my own personal mental health issues and experiences, I have blossomed into a mental health advocate and a mental health coach. So, if you have any additional questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out, and our contact information is in the description bar below. Now, let's talk about how did all of this come about. Well, first, let's start with the background. I started having just subtle little differences in my health about 5 or 6 years ago. And so I would mention that to my primary care physician. And my primary care physician, would attribute that to, getting a little bit older and things of that nature. However, it still wasn't an exact cause, an exact reason of what was going on. There weren't no real answers. That bothered me. It bothered me a lot. So I decided to do things that I could control, like change my diet, make sure that I'm a little more cognizant of eating healthier and exercising and doing the things that I could do. That did help some, but it didn't help completely. So eventually, what would be a small health scare turned into what I thought was a big health scare one day when I thought I was having a heart attack. I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm only in my 30s. I cannot be having a heart attack in my 30s. I mean, I'm relatively, healthy. I eat well. I exercise. I can't be having a heart attack, right? No, I wasn't having a heart attack, but I was having an attack, a panic attack. So after multiple visits to the ER and to the doctor, eventually my mystery diagnosis was given to me, and it was generalized anxiety disorder, also known as GAD, GAD for short. And so once I got the diagnosis, I felt at first some type of comfort, like, okay, at least I now know what's going on with me. Okay, it's just anxiety. How can I fix anxiety? What can I do to fix it? And so, I would discuss these options with my doctor, but those discussions were, what should I say, null and void. Yeah, basically, the same traditional information like, well, just got to make sure that you're eating better and make sure that you're not stressing, and then try therapy, and but nothing concrete to say, okay, how did anxiety come about? What can I do to make it go away? Can it go away? Will I be fixed? Am I going to be broken forever? All of these things and so much more came across my mind during my trip to anxiety land. And so what I decided to do was to take matters into my own hands. And so by doing that, I decided to do some research on anxiety and on panic attack disorders and how they're treated, things I can do to alleviate the symptoms, because I didn't want to just live with anxiety and panic attacks. I didn't want to just cope with anxiety and panic attacks. I wanted to be able to thrive and be normal like everyone else, right? Is everyone else normal? We don't know. But I wanted to be my normal self. I wanted to be back to who I was. And so in search of that, I was able to find purpose spiritually, mentally, and physically. But before I found my purpose, I will say I went down a very dark hole. Not necessarily down into depression, at least I don't believe I did. But I did go into a dark hole where I was too scared to go out in public, so I shied away from any type of family activities, any type of church events, any type of things that would take me away from my safe spot. My safe spot was my home. I wanted to be home because I was so scared of, the possibility of having a panic attack while I was out in public. And I didn't want people to think that I was crazy or, looking at me strange or weird, like, oh my gosh, what is going on with her? Like, I didn't want any of that. So, that was something that I had to eventually end up getting over. So, now let's talk about my treatment journey. So, on my treatment journey, it was very difficult to go to my doctor, and she just, wanted to prescribe medication. So, a little background about me: I didn't necessarily want to go the medication route because I like to be more of a naturalist. I like herbs and teas and things of that nature, that I believe has a little bit more of what I'm looking for, just a natural lifestyle. And so, hesitantly, I did go ahead and take the medication. But I did take the medication with a clause to my doctor that I plan no way of being on this medication for a long period of time. And I meant that. And so the doctor prescribed for me Celexa. It did take Celexa about maybe 3 or 4 weeks before it was in my system good, and before I was alleviated with having any type of anxiety or panic attack. So, in lieu of medication, I also still practice my natural things, such as drinking natural tea, herbal teas that were great for alleviating stress, great for anxiety, and things of that nature. I also do take herbal supplements, which help along with therapy. I do see a therapist on a regular basis, and I do believe that therapy is beneficial for anybody that's out there, not even necessarily dealing with something on a mental health issue, but if they are dealing with any type of situation. We all have past traumas, we all have, stressors and things of that nature that we need to really work through, because what happens is if we don't work through those things, they just stay inside of us and they fester and they build and they build and they build, and then we explode. We don't want to get to the explode. Okay, sis? We do not want to get to the explode portion. We want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, both mentally, physically, emotionally, and all of the things in between. Okay? Now, another part of my treatment also was learning what my stressors were, what triggered me, what things could I eliminate out of my life that causes stress or causes discomfort or causes me to worry or to be anxious. And those things aren't always easily eliminated, because sometimes, like when you're at work and you have a deadline that you have to meet, that can be very stressful. But I will tell you that there are ways that you still can alleviate some of that stress by being organized, prioritizing things. And then a very critical part of my success to being able to recover from anxiety is having a strong support system. I encourage you, if you're out there and you're living with any type of mental illness, you need to have a strong support system, whether it's your family, whether it's close friends, whether it's co-worker, somebody that understands what you're going through, somebody that knows that what you're going through is not your fault, that you're not alone, and they don't treat you with a stigma or something negative that makes you think, that you're crazy or you're worthless or anything of that nature. You want to make sure that you surround yourself with positive people. So, why am I doing this? Well, I started Surrender Transformational Coaching because I wanted to help others, the countless others that's out there suffering from mental health issues, mental illnesses such as anxiety and panic attacks. also want to do this for the countless women who are out there living with undiagnosed anxiety and panic disorders. Because we have so much that we juggle as women, as mothers, as wives, as sisters, as daughters, we carry a lot of burden. And because of that, we oftentimes don't realize when our body is telling us to sit down. So, sis, sit down. So now, let's go ahead and grab those teacups because it's time to discuss the tea of the month. This month, we are going to be discussing lemon balm tea. We're going to go over this week what lemon balm tea is. Lemon balm is known for its calming and relaxing properties. So that makes it a really good option for you to reach for in your tea collection next time you're feeling overly stressed out or anxious. So, thank you for having tea time with me today. Come back again for another tea-filled episode. We do upload videos every Monday, so be sure to like the video, subscribe to the video, subscribe to our channel, and make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you can get all the videos as soon as we upload them. Thanks again, and remember, your health is mental. Bye-bye.